Right, let's get this spot on my head into focus. How's it going, friends? Welcome back to Football Therapy. With who? With me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. Genuinely do hope that. And welcome back, as always, to Chelsea News. Thrice daily show here on the channel at the moment where I reflect on the ever-developing stories of Chelsea Football Club. Of course, transfer window. People talking about Conor Gallagher maybe being sent back to England while Atletico sort out this problem with the transfer. It's not really a love triangle anymore now because they've signed Julian Alvarez. That's official, I believe. So what's going on? What's happening? Well, we are going to follow this story throughout the day, and I'm going to keep you guys updated as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, as I have been doing, guys. But today we are relaxing. I hope we're relaxing. Are you relaxing? We are reacting to the Athletic deal sheet, which is published every Tuesday morning. Yes. And it's Tuesday morning. So I'm going to get into that now. We'll find out what's going on. That'll be very interesting. And then we can talk a little bit more about the situation with Joao Felix, Osimhen maybe if it comes up, etc. So, as always, thanks for joining me. Road to 200,000 subscribers if you want to become a member of the GOAT Gang. Honorary. The OG subscribers of this channel. Simply subscribe if you want to. Hit the bell if you choose to. And I'll always thank you for leaving a like. Alright, let me just sip my coffee. This is quite like is it a feminine cup? It's quite like a mum cup, this, isn't it? I do a football ones. I should get a football therapy mug. I should get a football therapy mug. Right. The Athletic writes this. What's happened at Chelsea this week, eh? Well, yeah. Chelsea managed to spring a rare transfer market surprise by moving quietly and quickly to finalise a deal with Wolves worth 60 million euros, plus 3 million euros in potential add-on bonuses for winger Pedro Neto, who was presented at Stamford Bridge, of course, at half-time in the 1-1 draw against Inter, their friendly. Neto moves to Stamford Bridge on a 6-year contract with an option to extend for a further 12 months. He provides head coach Enzo Maresca with another Premier League proven option to deploy on the left or, of course, on the right as well. So, yeah, 60 million euros, what's that, about 54 million pound or something? Fine, totally fine. I ain't got an issue with the fee. I think it's an excellent signing. I commend Chelsea for doing it quietly. This is me talking, of course. And we read, of course, the reports that actually Man City came in late for Pedro Neto as well, but it was too late by then because the Chelsea had moved incredibly fast. And to be honest, man, Pedro Neto screams Man City to me, so I'm pleased we got him and not them. The drama did not stop there, of course. Boy, don't we know it. Chelsea's sprawling business with Atletico Madrid took an unexpected turn, with the deal agreed worth 40 million euros for striker Samu Amoradion collapsed in the 11th hour due to a major problem finalising the 20-year-old's contract. And of course, we've heard conflicting stuff about this. Some people suggesting that Chelsea made unreasonable requests in terms of his image rights. They wanted some of that revenue, which is a bit out of order, but I don't know if that's the cold hard facts or not. Atletico were banking on the money raised of the sale of Amoradion to offset the signings of Julian Alvarez from, of course, Man City, and Conor Gallagher from Chelsea, putting the England international's agreed move into the Spanish capital in fresh jeopardy. Of course, guys, there is a speculation that, well, he's been staying in a hotel for like 5 days, bless him, training by himself. I mean, he's already been shown the Wanda Metropolitano, of course, the Atletico Stadium, and it was even published on their official social media, which was so strange. I was like, you haven't signed this guy yet, and it's something like, let's get this transfer over the line or something. Like, that is such a dumb thing to do, I think. It's like, unless he's your player, don't release media like that. It's so weird. It doesn't really matter. If anything, it just applies pressure to show. Maybe it was like a tactic, but it seemed a bit silly to me. But I feel sorry for Conor because You know, it's not like we're farming him out and sending him to something terrible. I said, and I still feel like it's an excellent transfer for him. That would be a really exciting moment in his career. Go and play Champions League football in the Wanda Metropolitano for, you know, a massive club. For a manager who's planning around you, like, it's great. It's not like, you know, I know he wants to play for Chelsea, but it's not like he's being sent to Everton or something. No disrespect to Everton fans. But I do feel sorry for him because, you know, originally he didn't want to leave. And also, this is like, he's doing like a Mourinho living in a hotel. It's not good. As a consequence, of course, Chelsea and Atletico re-engaged in talks over a potential deal for Joao Felix. Of course, he spent 6 months alone at Stamford Bridge, in the latter half of the 22-23 season. Of course, this is the huge story. Joao Felix, that I've been covering quite meticulously and closely here on the channel, he has agreed to join Chelsea. He wants to come back to Chelsea to the point where he'll reduce his wages, and there's an idea that he'll be really, really affordable. Certainly Matt Law of The Telegraph reports that it represents a deal that would be too good to turn down. In other news, Gilchrist and Slonina completed loan moves away to Sheffield United and Barnsley, respectively. While Caleb Wiley, of course, joined Blue Coast sister club Strasbourg. I believe also Diego Moreira is going to go there. So Wiley and my brain is absolutely melting at the moment. Santos have gone there on loan, and then Diego Moreira will be sold there, but for very cheap. And I feel like, for me, that kind of just is a way of navigating an extra loan slot. But yeah, so much to keep up with. It's so complicated. Of course, we completed the signing of Aaron Anselmino for £17 million from Boca Juniors. He was immediately loaned back to the Argentina side. Did Joao Felix do enough at Chelsea to merit a return? The Athletic asks. Considerable hype accompanied Felix when he arrived at Stamford Bridge on a lavishly expensive 6-month loan, of course, in January 2023. A deal that became even less financially favourable when he was shown a straight red card at Fulham, an immediate free match ban. Yeah, do you remember that? We were so excited. His debut against Fulham, like this guy, that was just such... That was such testament to how terrible we were that Felix had literally just turned up at Chelsea a day before. I'd had barely trained with the first team and was just immediately in our starting lineup. And it's not like a team that was short on players. We had thousands of players, expensive players, talented attacking players. But Chelsea was such a mess that they were like, yeah, you just start him. Maybe it's because he was so expensive. High wages, high loan fee. He started against Fulham, looked amazing. We were like, oh my God, Eden Hazard 2.0. And then I can't remember who he two-footed, but immediately got a red card and free match ban, which was, of course, incredibly expensive because it's nearly a month of, well, if you include that first game, it's probably a month of loan fee of 6 months. So there's already a sixth absence, and you're paying, the loan fee, the high wages. It was just so silly. Wow. There were moments of dazzling individual skill and the occasional goal. Of course, he scored 4 goals. But overall, Joao Felix never really established himself as a player capable of being a consistent difference maker, albeit in a mess of a team, of course, playing under both Potter and Lampard. That, they struggled with identity. Lots of players didn't want to be there. Lots of players had checked out. There was nothing to play for. It's a really hard landscape to demonstrate your ability and capacity to fully integrate into a healthy Chelsea, whatever that is. It was telling there was no significant uproar when Joao Felix lost his starting spot. Of course, yeah, he did. And Chelsea's defeat against Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinals. And no shock when Clearlake Capital and Todd Bowley decided against buying him in that summer. Well, actually, there was other reports, I'm not, contesting what the Athletic are saying here, but there were other reports suggesting that the sporting directors did like Joao Felix, and they did offer him to Mauricio Pochettino, who of course was their appointed manager. And remember, they interviewed Pochettino for like months, didn't they? And they would have spoken to him at length about Joao Felix, and it was Pochettino that says no to him. So that was like the decisive factor, that Chelsea's new manager didn't want him in the team. Sorry, I just sipped my coffee there, so I thought I'd pause the recording. A reasonable but unremarkable return of 7 goals and 3 assists for Barcelona last campaign did nothing to suggest that Joao Felix has meaningfully elevated his game since his first brief stint at Chelsea. A squad option to cover several attacking positions, Maresca could do worse than Joao Felix. But in terms of a transfer fee and salary, Atletico have always priced him as a star. Well, the suggestion is they're not pricing him as a star. That for the first time in his illustrious, still young career, he's 24 years old, guys. He's under 25. So he's still a young, he's at the top end of a young player, you know. If he's going to be under £40 million, and if he's going to lower his wages to be in the wage structure, that is exciting. I've said it in recent videos. Those are the parameters where Yannick here at Football Therapy wants to sign Joao Felix, but only in those parameters because he is a bit of a superstar. He is good. You know, he can score. You watch his show reel. If you can get those kind of things out of him, he's worth that money as far as I'm concerned. Excuse me, hay fever. And even if he is a rotational option at, you know, striker, second striker, left wing, number 10, fine, great, quality. You're not going to be like, oh no, we've got Joao Felix starting and we've got no quality. You'll be like, all right, cool, let's let him cook. And one thing that we know he's good at, and we've looked at the stats on X value, of course, his biggest strength is combinational play with attackers, and that's what you need when you're coming up against stubborn defences. And we know in Nkunku, we know Nico Jackson and Cole Palmer can do like tight interchanging play that's really good. So he could slot into that. And Neto is countryman as well, another 24-year-old Portuguese attacker. So the Athletic go on here to say, what positions and players are Chelsea currently looking at? Well, we've only signed 47 million players, so who's coming next, right? That's the question. Neto's arrival at Chelsea addressed Chelsea's most urgent need on the wing. Did we have urgent? I mean, I guess we had urgent needs on the wing, purely because we just don't trust the players. But they are still in the market for attacking reinforcements, as underlined by the talks with Atletico for Joao Felix. And of course, we were going to sign Samu, weren't we? Chelsea retain a keen interest in Victor Osimhen and will move for him if a deal structure is deemed viable. Talks with Napoli so far have centered on a possible loan with an option to buy. It's a complicated negotiation that is closely tied to the Serie A's current pursuit of Romelu Lukaku. Beyond the phone, yeah, we've done that to death, haven't we? Lukaku's agreed a 3-year deal. He wants to be reunited with Daddy Conte. I still think we're in a strong negotiating position, all things considered there. So maybe we're just waiting for the, you know, the clock to run down and see if Napoli flinch, basically. We'll see what happens with that. Beyond the first team, Clearlake and Bowley's youth recruitment drive continues. Mike Penders, a 19-year-old goalkeeper at Genk, is being lined up for a move to Stamford Bridge. Well, if we're not signing teenagers, it's not Blueco, is it? He'll arrive next summer, apparently. Chelsea are continuing to negotiate the deal with Gremio for the 16-year-old attacking midfielder Gabriel Mek, who's supposed to be very, very good. All right, who's going to be leaving? Because remember, we've got a lot of players. A lot of players at the club. Chelsea, to put it mildly, have a lot of outgoing business to resolve. Joao Felix would only add to a squad crush that can be relieved if one of the current wingers in the first team departs. This is currently... here we go. Not the Fabrizio Romano, here we go. Different kind. There is currently no substance to reports linking Raheem Sterling with a move to Juventus. And the 29-year-old is fully focused on the new Premier League season under Maresca. That's interesting. Loads of Italian reports, are saying the Juventus link's real. I mean, I probably trust the Athletic in this instance. But, you know, Fabrizio Romano has said on multiple occasions that Chelsea will consider the exit of Raheem Sterling. I think it's more of a, could you sell him sort of thing. And to be honest, guys, if there was a winger to go, I think the most likely one is probably the one that's performed the best in pre-season, which is Noni Madueke, because you could see Neto play on the right as well. Very interesting. Lukaku has a release clause of £38 million that the club are motivated to ensure and the club are motivated to ensure he moves to Napoli in this window, regardless or not whether Osimhen comes the other way in the deal. Yeah, but we've spoke about Napoli offered some money. It was like £21.5 million as opposed to the £38 million they want. So it seems we're way off there. Fellow exile Kepa Arrizabalaga desired return to Real Madrid depends on whether they manage to sell the Ukraine international Andriy Lunin. I feel like if they do sell Lunin, because he's gone, his value would have increased after being their first team goalkeeper in the second half of a La Liga and Champions League winning season. So yeah, so then they'd be happy for Kepa to be the backup to Thibaut Courtois, which still makes me laugh because they're both the Chelsea keepers, weren't they? Which seems funny. Aston Villa and Crystal Palace have signalled, this is interesting, serious interest in Trevoh Chalobah, but both clubs need to resolve the futures of Diego Carlos and Mark Guehi, respectively. This is a sad one, of course. Ben Chilwell appears to have no place in Maresca's first team plans, but Chelsea's valuation and salary could prove obstacles to sale. We're going to come back to Chile in just a moment. Petrovic is available to buy after Jorgensen's arrival. Armando Broja, Fofana, Casadei will all be sold, and several academy players are in the process of finalising loan moves like Leo Casadei, Alex Matos, and Harvey Vale. So I want to talk a little bit quickly about Chile to end. Because he's a great player, man. He's Chelsea's vice captain. He's a great guy. He's a great professional. He is a bit of a leader. He's a great communicator. And when, of course, under Pochettino, there was the talk of who's going to become captain, Reece James or Chilwell. And Chilwell came out and says, I want to be captain. I kind of liked it. It was like a political campaign. But the way he spoke, I was like, yeah, you look a bit like a Chelsea captain. And of course, he's been amazing for Chelsea at times, Chilwell. Let's not forget, man. He was amazing in Tuchel's team. Champions League winner. He's a lethal left wing back that inverts in the final third and sort of can finish like a striker. He's got that Marcus Alonso volley left foot finish. He can get back and defend really well in the wide areas, but again, as a wing back defending, as a left back defending, he's not either fullback under Maresca. If you're left back or right back, you play either two roles because he inverts either side. You either invert or you join a back three. That is the antithesis of Chilwell. Chilwell is a attacking left back or attacking left wing back. He doesn't join a back three as a centre back, and he doesn't invert into midfield. So I get it. He's probably the most obvious and glaring casualty in this new regime at Chelsea, which is a shame because I really love Chilwell. He's on massive wages. If Chelsea could sell him, they would, but they just can't, basically. But I do worry for him. I wonder if he's going to become this like quiet project in the background. I don't know if they're going to train him to be a winger, but I wonder, he's young enough to learn. I wonder if they're just going to really quietly drill him in the background for 6 months in a new role, and then we might see him in a cup game, in an FA Cup game halfway through the season or something, playing in that left back role. We'll see what happens. But as always, guys, I'll leave it up to you to talk about it in the comment section. I'll thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting the content, for liking and subscribing. Do keep it locked because I try and react immediately to all developing stories. And I look forward to seeing you back here soon. All right. Peace.